Welcome back. This is Fulfillment Obi, and every day I give you one leadership insight and truth to help you lead better, live better, and build something great. Today we're talking about why smart people are internally lost. Stick with me to the end of this episode because what I'm about to say is something that you recognize, and recognition is where the work begins. Let's get into the episode. This episode is specifically for people who are highly intelligent. They understand data, they understand strategy, they know how to put framework together. They are able to pinpoint where the business or the company is failing. They're able to come up with smart solution. But internally, a fog has been built that disconnect them from clarity. If you ask them a simple question, what do you really want? Where are you going? And what is the reason behind all these things they are building? They can't answer because clarity has been disconnected with external markers and validators. They always point to the things they are achieving, the things they are building, tell you the things they are working towards, but never the reason why. And it's simply because every time they try to ask themselves this simple question, what do I really want out of all these things? Where am I heading to? What is the true intent behind what I'm building? Their intelligence pop up and try to explain everything away. It shifts to their goals, to their achievements. It shifts to explaining. They try to explain it with data and all those stuff. But meanwhile, something inside is broken. Something is missing. Why does this happen? Intelligence comes from self-awareness, the ability to think deeply, come up with an answer to every problem. And for external stuff, your goals, your visions, your dreams, those things are very important and valuable. But for internal stuff and the clarity you need to lead, those things doesn't really work. When you feel exhaustion, you tell yourself that maybe I just need to rest my brain, my energy level is low. When you feel deeply disconnected from what you're building, you try to explain it away intelligently. You tell yourself that maybe you just need more time off, maybe you need to take a vacation. But is that really the problem? Is that really what is going on the inside? And I see this as a focus problem. Focus not on the management level, not focusing on tasks, goals, and implementation, but focus as an existential problem. You not really understanding what is going on the inside and you lacking the clarity creates a gap between what you're building and what you actually want, which will lead to long-term dissatisfaction. This is also a learning problem. Highly intelligent people, they consume vast amount of information daily. Podcasts, books, strategies, framework, you name it. A lot of information going into their head, but consumption is not learning. The learning I'm talking about is the ability to sit with yourself and call out the problem, to give yourself honest feedback that, well, I'm actually lacking this. This part of my leadership is failing. I don't have clarity in this aspect. Instead of coming up with intelligent solution, instead of thinking and asking yourself, okay, what's the data saying about this? It means sitting with yourself and honestly calling out the problem, studying the problem long enough to know what is actually broken. So this is not because you are not self-aware. This is not because maybe something is broken. It is because you've ignored the inner compass for so long that it has stopped functioning as it's supposed to. Your mind does what it does best. It protects you by coming up with solutions that is not actually true. So you apply intelligence to everything except honest diagnosis of what is truly happening to you. Here's what I actually want you to do. The next time you feel that internal fog, that's deep sense of not knowing where you're going on, what you're supposed to do, or why you are doing what you're doing, just sit with it. Let it settle. Do not try to explain it away. Do not try to come up with rational solution. Understand it. Let it land so that you can slowly unpack it and figure it out. So don't allow your intelligence to redirect you. Just let it land. Let's look at what I have for you this week that will help you identify this problem, sit with it, and begin to solve it little by little. So this week diagnostic tool is called the execution gap. That's what you're going to be getting for this week brief in the execution room. So it's a 5-page clinical brief that takes everything we are going to be covering this week: the focus breakdown, the feedback filters, the implementation gap, and give you a structured diagnostic tool you can walk through across the week. So it's a 3-section, 3 honest question, 1 gap map that show exactly where your execution is breaking down and why. So this is not an exercise. This is not a read. This is a tool, and it's live inside the execution room. So you want to get access, please go to the link in the description of this episode or the show notes, and you will get access. In the execution room, you have access to weekly audits and briefs, weekly deep dive, monthly Q&A, and ad-free episode every day. So to be part of it, please check the description for the link to the execution room. And if this episode has really spoken to you, or you know someone who is dealing with this problem, a leader that has been struggling with an internal clarity, you can send them this episode, and do well to share, subscribe, like, and favorite this podcast, and come back to it every day for an insight that will help you lead better and live better. I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode.